Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. And this evening, the Wednesday, we'll be studying from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Panchama Veda, and English page 855. Let us begin with the mantra. Tabo kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi virilitam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. Now, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the last week we heard, he is mentioning that a very, very important statement. The essential thing is to fix the mind on God and to practice meditation. To fix the mind on God and meditation practice. That means we are forgetting the world of name and form, and we are fixing the mind on God, who is an enlightenment, who is a source of happiness, bliss, and we are constantly keeping our mind on that, and that way meditating. Meditation means forgetting all other things, and the mind is concentrated on one particular object, if we say object. So this he is mentioning. Why? Unless and until we meditate and we withdraw all our sense organs from the sense objects and understand what is actually God, we will never be able to understand the spirituality. The spirituality is completely different thing. Now people may ask, what is the necessary for spirituality? Because we are all happy in this world. For them, of course, it is not. It is better for them to continue as they are thinking, living. That is okay for them. And that is the reason in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna, Lord Krishna said, Nabuddhi Vedam Janaed Ajnanam Karma Sanginam. Of course, the karma, the people, they think that if we are performing yajnas for a particular purpose, we will attain that. We will go to heaven. We will get this success, that success. So if they think in that way and they think that is the summum bonum of life, okay, let them continue. That is better for them. No problem. But if you want the eternal peace, then it is better that you should concentrate your mind on God. Now, what is God? How to concentrate on that? For that, the Hinduism, they suggested different type of forms of gods and goddesses. So why so many gods and goddesses in Hinduism? Because you are allowed to concentrate your mind on any form, any name you like. There's a beautiful verse they say that Bhaktanam Anukampartham Brahmana Rupa Kalpana. The Kalpana means imagining a form. The Rupa, the form, who is Brahman? What is Brahman? All-pervading consciousness. Now, if the all-pervading consciousness, which is Brahman, you can think about that, then no problem. But if you cannot, then the suggestion is you better think a form. So they started thinking about the Vishnu. The word Vishnu also means all-pervasiveness. But there's a form. And from the Vishnu, then other gods and goddesses, everything came. So this is what actually Hinduism suggests. But ultimately, you have to withdraw your mind from the world and keep it on God or on Brahman. Why? Happiness. Happiness is our goal. So in the Bhagavad Gita, the commentary, there's a great famous commentator. He is also mentioning that from the happiness everything. And in the Upanishad also, the Anandeva Kalu Imani Bhutani Jayante. These bhutas, all these beings, they are born out of the ananda, out of the joy, the happiness. So obviously, happiness is our ultimate goal. Whatever we do, there is a goal is there, and that goal is ultimately happiness. Saying this, now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned, a man should be given food according to his power of digestions. Can all understand what I told you? I cannot talk to everyone as I talk to you. See, that is also as per the understanding. Now the children, when they come to understand a religion, for them what is the religion? There is a uniqueness in Hinduism. They always understand what is going to happen. For say the younger people, for them study is the Dharma. What is their religion? Chhatranam Uddhayanam Tapaha. Your austerity, your spiritual practice is study. As long as you are a student, you must study and you need not to bother about anything else. But when you are studying, at the same time, you should also study some moral stories, moral things. Nowadays what happened, they have withdrawn the morality and only some informative, the informations they are giving. So what is happening when they are growing up, they know many things, but there is no morality. And that is the reason they are suffering. And when the children are suffering, parents are also suffering. And society is also suffering. So that also should be there. That is not the children are not going to do that. Students are not going to do that. It is the responsibility of the seniors, those who are organizing the education. They should make in such a way that when they are studying, they should also study mainly Dharma. So, the olden times, what is the goal of a student? Dharma. What is Dharma? Responsibility. And what are the responsibilities? As a children, as a son, daughter, you have some responsibility. Then next life, then next life. So if you are committed to your responsibilities, that is your Dharma. That's the first training. When you can control your emotions, control all other things, then when you are doing something, there will be a different type of temptations. If you are a police officer, the bad people, they will tempt him. I will give you this much bribe, please release me. If he thinks, oh, okay, I get a lot of money, so let me allow this person. That person again will be the problem for the society. Maybe someday, somewhere, God forbid, because of that bad fellow, his family, the policeman's family, get injured or the death. It may happen. So this is the teaching that what is your commitment that you must perform, and that is called Dharma. So that way, every step, and the other day we were studying the Bhagavata. There also it says, when you are a householder, what is your duty? Raksha. You have to protect the whole society. These people, they are grown-up people. Now in a democratic setup, they are taking every responsibility, including formation of the administration, government. That they are casting vote. If they are callous, if they don't understand what is going to happen next, then they will suffer. It is their responsibility to protect. They should protect the children, they should protect the elderly people, they should protect the culture and everything. So, when you are a householder, your Dharma is to protect. When you are the retired person, another type of Dharma, and that is to slowly withdraw all your, because you have scattered your mind all over. You were performing so many duties. Now it is time after retirement to withdraw. And sannyasa means you have completed that practice. After the retirement, you have completed. Now you are in yourself, and to them, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's this advice. The essential thing is to fix the mind on God. So that is the essential thing. Not for all. That's why when the doctor, the Sarkar, who was treating Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, she was arguing that tell the others also. When he was telling that to Sarkar, Dr. Sarkar, that he said, why not others? Sri Ramakrishna is not all for others. I am telling you because I have understood that you are now ready to understand this. But all are not ready. Sometimes he used to teach separately in a closed door a very special practices to Narendranath, who afterwards who became Swami Vivekananda. So obviously the different type of the people who will be able to understand. So Sri Ramakrishna said, suppose a mother has bought a fish for the family. All her children have not the same power of digestion. For some she make pulao and some she makes stew. The later have weak stomachs. All are laughing. Dr. Sharkar took his leave. It was Vijaya Day, when people show their love and respect to their friends and elders with appropriate greetings. The devotees all prostrated themselves before Sri Ramakrishna and took the dust of his feet. Then they embraced one another. Their joy knew no bounds. The master was seriously ill, but he made them all forget about his illness. The embracing and exchange of greetings continued a long time. The devotees also took light refreshments. The younger Naren, Aim, and a few other devotees sat near Sri Ramakrishna. The master talked to them joyfully. He spoke of Dr. Sharkar. Now here we get a picture of the social practices. Particularly in India, I have seen in China and Japan also, they fold their hands and bow down, but not touch the feet. Touching the feet, it is only in India. Even in the northern side of India, like the Delhi and Punjab, I have seen the people are touching not the feet, only up to the knee, and that way they show the respect. There are different reasons may be there, but why showing respect to another person? Because that person is also having the God within himself. So this is a great understanding. Socially we practice, the mothers and the guardians, they will ask the children, go and touch the feet of the senior, take the blessings. They do that. It becomes a practice. And they continue in that way. But why it is? Because we know each soul is divine. I'm not actually respecting that particular body, but the soul within that. And that person also, accordingly, if he is a senior, he prays for that younger one, bless him or her. And the juniors, they go and touch the feet to take the blessings. Each and other, they always do like that. In the Muslim community also, they also say like this, that let you be live in peace, and may God also keep you peace. And like that, they also pray for each other. So this is the way the society, but there must be something. They don't believe that each soul is divine. So they say, Allah, the God, will give you peace, and I pray, and the other person also praying for the next person, other person. Because they don't believe that the soul, the person, is divine. So they pray to God. But the Hindus, they go directly to that person and touches the feet because they believe that particular person is nothing but God. This is the difference, and that comes from realization. So social practices, social differences, that also gives the idea of the spirituality of that particular group of people, culture, and race, we can say. So here, the Vijaya Dashami, why Vijaya? That other day we discussed, it was the success of the goodness on the bad. So that was the Vijaya. Vijaya means the success, the joy, and they are expressing that joy, happiness by embracing each other. Now, Master sat, and these people, Naren, Aim, and they all sat near. This is Chota Naren, younger Naren. That means not our Narendranath or Swami Vivekananda. Master, I shall not have to tell him very much. When the trunk of a tree is cut almost to the other side, the carter steps aside. A little later, the tree falls down of itself. Now, this is the uniqueness of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever teaching that he gives, immediately an example. Now, Dr. Sharkar, he was a great devotee, but he loved science. So naturally, a little bit of argumentative, he will be constantly asking questions. Apparently, other people used to think that he doesn't believe in God. Of course, he used to say that I believe in service, I like to serve people, like that. But a human being can be God, that he never believed. So it was difficult for him to accept that Sri Ramakrishna is none other than God himself in human form. Avatar. That conception was very difficult for Dr. Sarkar to accept. So the Girish Chandra Ghosh, who was a very great devotee, he used to argue with Dr. Sarkar. But Sri Ramakrishna knew that Dr. Sarkar within himself is already have practiced so much of spirituality. Now he is ready to realize God. So giving the example, the tree is already cut, and then a little afterwards, automatically it will fall. That means detachment from this world, the temporary world, that he has understood. And he is ready to accept that life, monastic life, withdrawing all his senses, and it will automatically will happen. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna understood. So he was talking to Dr. Sarkar that one should keep his mind on God, fixing the mind on God and meditate. Not for all, for people like Dr. Sarkar. Sri Ramakrishna could see the mind, could understand that. So he mentioned that. The younger Naren smiling. Here everything is principle. Sri Ramakrishna to aim. The doctor has already changed a great deal, hasn't he? This young boy, the little Naren, he was just making something, but Sri Ramakrishna didn't pay any heed because he was serious. So he wanted to talk about Dr. Sarkar. His soul is going to get liberation. He is going to realize. So that is a great moment. So Sri Ramakrishna was trying to convey that, but this young boy, he didn't understand. He was, but he told to Master Mahashaya, the doctor has already changed. Master Mahashaya, yes sir. When he comes here, he loses his wits. He never talks about medicine. When we remind him of it, he says, oh yes, yes, I shall have to give the medicine. That means when he comes to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, his mind is full of the spirituality for the religious joy. He thinks about God, he thinks about the high moral values. He forgets that he is supposed to give medicine. Obviously, when we go to the temple, to the holy places, if we check ourselves, do we always think in that way? Most of the time we go to the temples, and if it is a big construction with different the stones, carving, this, that, instead of going to the God, we start taking the picture of those stones and appreciate, oh, this is wonderful, that is wonderful. But what purpose you come to temple? To see the stones only? The carving of the stones? This is not a museum. This is a temple. And that is why temple should be in that form. Straight people should go to the God and they should concentrate on God. But anyway, these are all challenges. Some people, they forget why they have come to temple. They go over there for socializing, for many other things. But a sincere one will never forget that. So the Dr. Sharkar, apparently he was an atheist and actually he was a great devotee, a believer. So the Master Maharshi noticed it and he said that he forgets about all the medicine. Some of the devotees were singing in the parlor. They returned to the master's room. Sri Ramakrishna said, I heard your music, but why did you make mistake? So when they are singing the music, that also should be with great attention. The other day, we were giving a talk on meditation through music. And truly, there are so many great souls who have realized God through music only. The one of the famous is Mirabai. So she used to compose the music and she used to sing in that way, but it is not a song that nowadays we sing. Mira's bhajan, very famous. Many singers will be singing it. But for Mira it was not a song, it was meditation. When she is telling something maybe through the music, through the rhythms, tune, actually a prayer is coming out from her heart, reaching to God. Mere to giridhari lal, dusra na koi. In Hindi she is mentioning, I need only God and nothing else, nobody else. So that is meditation. I only know God in this world. And for me, nothing remains. That music through meditation, meditation through music, So by that way, that's singing. But this person, he was not singing in that. He wanted to impress the listeners. And most of the singers, they do like that. They're performers, they come and they sing, and the clappings of the people, the listeners, that is sufficient for them. But if same music, if they concentrate on God and think that they are singing for God, that will be a source of meditation. A young man, a relative of the younger Naren, arrived. He was, I think we have already gone through this. Now next come here, at page 857, the Sri Ramakrishna, he was mentioning, the Janaka was a great hero. He fenced with two swords, the one of knowledge and the other of work. Knowledge and work. Now these two things is very difficult to go together. Why? I am working for something, some object. And knowledge says, particularly the spirit Vedanta, which talks about the knowledge, there is only one God and nothing else. The Atman only is there and nothing else. So who is working for whom? Why should I have to work? And here the work means organizing some yajnas, performing yajnas, so that something good happens. So I am losing in some legal litigation, people will organize Yamkya. Now, even today, in India and other places, they do that. And there are Pandits, there are the people who are capable to do that, they will be organizing. That is a work they are doing with a purpose to get some success in this mundane world. But the mundane world we are denying. Then Vedanta, they say it is nothing there. So if you think that you can do in this way, how it is possible? No. So that's why they say, no, it is not possible. You cannot do that. But the Janaka could do that. How? That is the capacity. Much afterwards, here in the modern days, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he said, if you can see God with open eyes, can't you see God? If you can see God with closed eyes, can't you see God with open eyes? And that is the great question. We all meditate to see God within ourselves, but the same God is traveling everywhere. We see each and every being is nothing but God. The moment we understand that, just imagine, I was withdrawing my mind and I was seeing God within my mind and forgetting everything outside. Now I see that same God in everything. The moment I see that, every moment of my life is nothing but meditation. And I am talking with some people or doing something with others, everything becomes nothing but worship. About Swami Vivekananda, his disciple, Margaret Noble, afterwards Sister Nivedita, famous as Sister Nivedita, she mentioned that in him, everything is spirituality and nothing mundane. For Swami Vivekananda, everything and he introduced Karma Yoga in the modern times. Through the monks, the Hindu monks, they never could think that they are helping others. The tradition was, the monks, the moment you accept the monkhood, you are not supposed to touch the fire. Obviously, you will go and bake the cooked food from the devotees. Eat that and meditate. That is your only purpose. There are verses are there in the scripture. That is the only thing, nothing. So you will get up and go for bathing in the holy river, go for the begging for the food, and after the food you will meditate, and that's all. Swami Vivekananda said, right from your birth till now, you're going on taking so many things from the society. Your life is nothing but the society that you're helping. Your parents, your family, your all others, everyone going on giving you. Are you going to die indebted? Why don't you give it back to them? How? Go. The Swami Vivekananda's words, hamlet to hamlet, village to village, and give them the moral educations. So that is your job. You should do like that. Go and tell them about God, about morality, about the happy life. He introduced that. So this Janaka, he used to do like that. That's why they used to call him Rajarshi, Raja and Rishi. He used to perform the administrative work of a king. At the same time, he was a completely withdrawn person, but that was really difficult. You may ask, is there any difference between the realizations of the two Gyanis, one a householder and other a monk? The reply is that the two belong to one class. Both of them are Gyanis. They have the same experience, but the householder Gyani has reason to fear. He cannot altogether get rid of his fear as long as he is to live in the midst of lust and gold. If you constantly live in a room full of soot, you are sure to soil your body, be it ever so little, no matter how clever you may be. After extracting the butter, if you keep it in a new pot, then there's no chance of its getting spoiled. But if you keep the butter in a pot where yogurt has been kept well, then it is doubtful whether it will keep its flavor. So people are appreciating that. These are the very simple example that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is giving. This example means he is mentioning in such a way, both are making the butter. And after that, one is keeping the butter in some place where some smell is already there. The butter will get that smell. A householder devotee, if even he becomes a jnani, even in his life, that may be there. That is the only difference between a householder jnani and a monastic jnani. The both are jnanis. They have the same experience, same knowledge. But at the same time, because of their lifestyle, it may be like this. After extracting the butter, when they pasteurise, a few grains jump out of the frying pan to the ground. These are the white like mallika flowers, without the slightest stain on them. But the grains that remain in the pan are also good, though not as same as the way immaculate as the fresh mallika flower. They are a little stained. In the same way, if a monk who has renounced the world attains the divine wisdom, he appears as spotless as the white flower. But one who stays in the frying pan of the world after attaining knowledge may get a little blemish. That is the reason the monks, they don't live with their families. If the monk is living with a family, then obviously my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, and my niece, and like that, all relation will come. And obviously, if it is mine, there is thine, yours. The monk cannot do like that. For him, everything should be equal. My linguistic group, my religious group, my countrymen, nothing can be there. A true monk is very, very universal. The Hindu monkhood is unique. But sometimes we don't understand that. Then what happens? They are practicing, but at the same time, a bad smell is getting. So they are not aware of it. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, this book, every page, I think this is really the fifth Veda, Panchama Veda, is constantly give us the knowledge. For the householders, what they should do. For the monks, the renouncers, how they should live. Every moment you are aware. So immediately, oh, sure, I should not do like this. So this is the way we learn. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is very, very careful. If you are a monk, if you are a nun, if you are a monastic, so it is mine, that conception should not be there at all. So they should not introduce themselves that I belong to this, I belong to that. As much possible, they should avoid. If you notice in Ramakrishna Mission, when our President Swamijis, they pass away, then only a book is published about his life, mentioning about his parents, about his schooling, about his all other things, but not when he is alive. Why it is? They will never ever. Nowadays, a little bit of modernity has come, and it becomes compulsion, because if you are going to give a talk somewhere, in a university and others, they like to know about your background. And sometimes they say, the monk's background only should be the name of his guru and nothing else. So what is your background? This is my background. Why? Because the lineage is coming down. The moment you say that I belong to this, I belong to that, I study, that means you have not given up. That in the subtle part of your mind, that attachment is there. Even the subtlest of the subtle attachment will never allow you to realize the truth. That is really, really very difficult. One should be always very much aware that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. One say, now, those who have already realized, now here comes the two different types. Those who have already realized, for them, a little different, and those who are trying to realize, it will be a little different, should be different. Swami Vivekananda once said, don't follow what I do, don't repeat that, but follow what I say. Swami Vivekananda said, because he was mixing in the society with all types of people, but for him there was no problem. Why? He was like a Narada. He was a Jnani, and nothing could touch him. Just like that, he used to leave. But when he returned to Belur, immediately he left all that. He was only that old Naren. In a Kaupina, he used to sit by the side of the Ganga, used to meditate, playing with his pets. That was Vivekananda. Can anyone do like that? A world famous personality. He simply left all those because he never was attached to all this. He never became the president of this order. He gave it to other Guru Bhais. The Vivekananda's life is completely different. So we should try to follow what he said, but we should not try to follow what he did, because that will be very difficult. Unless and until we reach to that purity, that detachment, it is not possible. That is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, that a Jnani living in the world may have a little blemish, yet it does not injure him. The moon undoubtedly has dark spots, but these do not obstruct its light. After realizing God, some souls perform work in order to teach men, Janaka, Narada, and others like them belong to this group. But one must possess power in order to be able to teach others. The sages of old were busy attaining knowledge for themselves, but teachers like Narada went about doing good to others. They were real heroes. The different type of mentality. One, they only want their own liberation. One, Swami Vivekananda, he also answered in that way when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, his guru, asked him, what do you want? And this young Narendra, afterwards Vivekananda, he said, I like to go into deep meditation, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sometimes, just to keep this body, I should come down to this physical plane, have some food to maintain the body, then again I should go into that trance. Instead of being happy, his guru rebuked him. He said, I never expected this answer from you. Why you are so selfish, thinking about yourself? You should go out and distribute this among others. But you need a lot of strength, spiritual strength for that. Just reading a few books and you go out and go on giving lectures. Suppose you have the good command over the language and you can mesmerize people. But that is only Bhagbaikari, as Shankaracharya said. Bhagbaikari Shabdo Jari, Shastra Vyakhyana Kaushalam. They know how to explain, how to use those words in his favor, and they will be impressing the people by saying that. But what about their personal life? The personal life is more important than... So those who are out in the world to help others in spiritual life must have that realization first, as the gurus if they are doing. But just as a messenger if you are doing, I don't know, but this is what is written in the book. I am just reading it out before you, and whatever I have heard and learned, I like to discuss with you. That is a different teacher. But those who are becoming the guru, if they are not having the capacity, they themselves will also sink. As Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna says, a worthless stick floating on the water sinks under the weight of a bird. The small little bird is sitting on that. Immediately that will go inside the water because it is not having the sufficient capacity. But a heavy and sustainable log floating on the water can support a cow, a man, or even an elephant. The steamboat not only crosses the water itself, but carries many human beings with it. Teachers like Narada may be compared to the heavy log of wood of the steamboat. In those days, in India, and particularly in Calcutta was the capital of India in those days, the British India. So near the Dakshineshwar and the Ganga, the steamboat was there. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he went on the steamboat once. So he knew about it. So he is giving that example. So many people were there, even the cows were also there. So they were going. So when a great teacher comes, they take all this for everyone. Like the Jesus, like the Buddha, like the Sri Ramakrishna, they take all of them, carrying with them. But the ordinary people, they can help others by giving the teachings and quoting from the other scriptures, but they cannot take them to the other soul of this world because they themselves has not crossed it. And maybe somehow they are trying to do that. So this is the difference between the avatara or the real gurus and the others. So difference between two human beings in spiritual life is how much capacity, spiritual power, a spiritual realization they are truly having. You know, friends, spirituality means not having any attachment to this worldly life. That much. But when you look at us, analyze our mind, our thoughts, we will find there are so many desires are there. It is lurking, it is hiding, it is taking us down, and every time we like to fulfill those. At the same time, when you talk about God, that is not the spiritual life. We are actually cheating ourselves and cheating the world. That's why Swami Vivekananda warned in this monastic, in the particularly spiritual life, 80% becomes hypocrite. It is very, very difficult. You have to be genuine, and by that way you should move. And if you are trying to adjust with others, other thing, so that people will appreciate you, that is not the genuinity. And maybe there are the questions may be there, we may discuss about it sometime afterwards. The spiritual life, monastic life, one has to realize God first. And if you have the capacity and the love for others, then you can pray to God, give me the power so that I can go out and help those other people. That is one thing. Second, I am trying to realize God, at the same time I am helping others. That is exactly what Swami Vivekananda asked us to do. Atmana mokshartam jagat hitaya cha. Atma moksha is the first option. And what is the Atma moksha? I don't want anything of this world. Whether people appreciate me or not, whether I am, but I love people. I try to help them in whatever way is possible. Sometimes listening to their suffering also is a great help. Patience hearing and whatever the way is possible to help them. So that is one thing. Atmana moksha, jagat hita. Jagat hita comes afterwards. But for Swami Vivekananda, people like him, it is the jagat hita. Because Atma moksha, they are already there. And so they come out to help. But they ask us to, first, you should also try to realize and try to help others so that they also can follow your path. So our motto, the motto of the Ramakrishna mission, fixed by Swami Vivekananda, Atmana mokshartham jagat hitaya cha, for the one's own liberation and for the betterment of others. So this is what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said. This is only for the great gurus who are giving solace and taking the different souls, carrying them to the other shore. There may be two different kinds. One man, after eating a tasty mango, removes every trace of it by wiping his face carefully with a towel, lest anyone should know, all laughing. Another again, having got a mango, not only enjoy himself, but share it with others. The two different mentality. One wants to share the joy with others, another only himself will. So that is the way Swami Vivekananda said, suppose you are trying to realize God in this life and you are not successful. Then what happens? You have taken so much help from the society, but in exchange you have not given anything. Now, doing this way, you go to the poor people and teach them alphabets. The moment they learn the alphabets, they get back the eye. They can learn, they can see, they can imagine the human life. Without the knowledge, it is just like a blind life. The great help that you can do just by this way. And in those days, in the beginning of the 19th century, 20th century, he was mentioning that take that globe and go and sit with the villagers, show them the world. And this is the world. So many countries, so many big oceans, and this is your country, and this way you live. So many people are there. A little idea will come. Otherwise, they are so isolated. And that is so true. When I was in Arunachal Pradesh, I saw those people. They were not knowing where they are living. Even in this and the 21st, 22nd century, so they are thinking that very isolated village. They don't know anything. They are born over there, they die over there, and their whole world is that much only, that village. Now, when you are bringing, what we used to do, we used to bring their children and put them into our school. And slowly they got education. English education, Hindi, and then computer, the science. Then some of them became doctors, some of them became engineers. They are now working all over. Now slowly that village, completely different. Same culture, not that they are giving up their culture, but like a human being they are living. They do not know the cataract. If it is there, they think that they have lost eyesight. You can go and treat it. They never knew. So when we used to send the doctors and the operation, and they got back the eyesight, and they were so happy. If this way also the holy people, if they are serving others, That is also a great service to the humanity and living gods. If you think that they are living gods, it is your meditation. At the same time, it is social service. Social service, but in exchange, you are not asking anything from them, not even a vote or appreciation, but you will get the blessings of God because you are thinking not as a human being, a poor being, but God in the poor being. This difference only, and that is the beauty of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. Even after having attained the perfect knowledge, teachers like Narada retain love of God in their minds for the welfare of others. The love of God, why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said like that? Duality. When I realize God or the Brahman, I see that I am in everything. And there is only one. There is no two. So that is the path of the knowledge. Those who are following the path of knowledge, Jnana Marga, they never meditate. Because on whom they will meditate? They only do the discrimination, analysis. And by that way, they always feel that I am that supreme consciousness pervading in everything, in every being. In that way, when they are realizing, they see the same consciousness. Obviously, no question of helping others. And that is the reason most of the Indian Swamis, they never helped others. Till Swami Vivekananda came and introduced. And he said, as long as you are living in the body and you need some food and shelter and clothing, that means duality is there. If duality is there, why didn't you help others? You are taking something from this one, and why don't you give back? And how to give back? Spirituality. So Dharma Palan, Dharma Shiksha. You have to practice spirituality, the righteousness, and then you have to teach righteousness. That is your job. The sannyasins need not to go for any other thing. Only this much will be sufficient. And when you are doing it, what you are doing in duality, I am looking those people as God. As Swami Vivekananda said, my special object of worship, the poor, the illiterate, the downtrodden. There's a special object of worship, duality. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned here, Narada retained love of God. Narada is a great scholar and is a jnani. But at the same time in his life we see that he is behaving like a devotee, singing the name of God and moving around the world. He is going everywhere, inspiring the great souls like the great writers and asking them to write great books. And at the same time, he is going to different kings, going to the ordinary people and helping everyone. How it is possible? Love for God. So friends, we should conclude over here. There are the God which is all-pervading, and that is called knowledge. When we think that God is all-pervading, is not having any form, all-pervasiveness, how it can have a form? When we realize that consciousness, what happens? I feel that I belong to everything. So obviously, there is a complete different type of experience. And you don't feel two, you feel always one. But as long as this body is remaining, I consciousness is there. When you are meditating, when you are transcending, that is unity. But when you are coming back to your body, then what? Duality. But when duality is there, why didn't you see God in other being? And then the suffering God, the illiterate God, the hungry God. Why don't you go and serve that God? So like the Narada, that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, in the modern times, it is Naradiya Bhakti. What is Naradiya Bhakti? The Jnana, Karma and devotion clubbed together. Narada said, I know that everything is that supreme being, but at the same time, I should always remember that and work. Tad arpita akhila acharata. I should give everything at the feet of that supreme God. Tad vishmarane parama vyakulata iti. That is Narada Bhakti. The Bhakti means the devotion, but this is completely in a package of jnana. And to have that jnana, you have to work. So this is the combination of unselfish work, knowledge and devotion. Today, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning that we should follow that path, and we should, if we are having the capacity to help others, we should do. If not, we should try to imbibe that capacity with a loving attitude for everyone. Thank you.
So there's one question. What is the difference between a guru giving initiation and someone chanting Jai Shri Ramakrishna without initiation? Will the person without initiation not be able to go forward in his spiritual life?
Of course he will or she will, because when you are dedicating your mind to God and you are concentrating on that particular God aspect, you will get the blessings of God. But what happens, usually, normally, our mind dwindles. We think today the Ganesha, next day the Kartikeya, next day the Shiva, next day, like this. And that way, we actually, our focus is going to different way, and it is not getting the concentration. And that is why the Guru says, this is your Ishta, and you must focus your mind on this. All other gods and goddesses are there. But among those gods and goddesses, this is your goal, and this goal you should achieve. Concentrate on that. That is the actually work of Guru. He introduces. But if you have complete faith, love, and you go on praying, the God himself will send his messengers, and you will get the help, and you will realize God. So thank you, friends. Let us now chant this mantra, and we conclude over here. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. You know that today I came to attend a program in the Chicago University, and naturally I live in Homer Glen. It is almost 1 hour drive from here. So I came to a devotee's house today, this evening, and they're so kind, they allowed me their room and all arrangements. So I am giving the talk today from Chicago, from a house of a devotee. And I pray to Thakur, let these devotees get his blessings. Thank you.